Welcome back to the Ray of Hope show. And in this segment, we'll be speaking to Freeholder from Camden County, Jeffrey Nash. Jeffrey, welcome.
Thank you, Senator. I moved to Cherry Hill, New Jersey when I was a young lawyer for a firm and got involved in the local Democratic Club. They asked me to run for council in Cherry Hill, and then I ran for Freeholder in 1991. And I have been a Freeholder now for 28 years.
So, but what about your love for animals? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've always had a love for animals from the time I had pets when I was young, but more importantly, my wife is an animal advocate. I get nervous when I say this publicly, but we have 11 cats. And we have two. In Cherry Hill, there was a puppy store, one of those stores that sold puppies that are bringing in puppies from those puppy mills, those horrific puppy mills. And there was a group of animal advocates in Cherry Hill who got together and they were protesting and boycotting, asking people to boycott this store because they knew that these puppies are coming from the most horrendous circumstances. And eventually they were able to close that store. Actually, they converted the store from selling puppy mill dogs to selling rescues. And they were taking rescues, puppy rescues,
and they did that voluntarily.
They did it voluntarily, although I'm sure that the protests
with the protest.
Right.
Okay.
But they worked with the protesters. They eventually came to an understanding that what they knew what they were doing was wrong, morally and even economically for them, it was wrong. And they got together with the protesters, the leadership, a guy named Alan Braslow, who's a strong advocate, and they agreed to sell rescues. Eventually, unfortunately, the store had to close them.
So, but you took that further in Camden County, yes?
Well, in Camden County, we work with the Humane Society, and we drafted legislation or a resolution in the county that banned the sale of puppy mill dogs throughout the 37 municipalities of Camden County.
So how did you define what a puppy mill dog was, though?
Well, we were actually requiring the sale of rescues. So it wasn't only the ban of puppy mill dogs, and at that time, you were able to get some records from the federal government, which unfortunately you cannot get today. Your legislation was spot on. And it was important, and that's why you're recognized as the animal advocate when you were in the Senate and in New Jersey. We worked together to ban the sale of puppy mills statewide.
Yes.
And
we got it through both houses, didn't we?
We did, and it was great. Unfortunately, the governor vetoed that legislation.
That would be Governor Christie.
It was.
So, but we're not going to stop there, are we? Yeah. Or you're not going to stop there, that's for sure.
I suspect you're not going to stop there either.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we're here and why I invited you, because you brought this issue to my attention. And your testimony in the legislature was powerful because there are powerful interests working against us.
If you want a purebred dog, and there is an organization that certifies what a responsible breeder is. And if you are a certified responsible breeder, it means that you care about who is buying the animal.
Okay, so that's an organization that cares about dogs and cats. We're not talking about the United States...
Kennel Club? No.
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, the Kennel Club...
Or we're not talking about the federal government.
No, please. The federal government and even the Kennel Club, while there are good organizations or good breeders that are part of the Kennel Club, not all of the Kennel Club umbrella are good breeders. In New Jersey, we're fortunate to have an organization that kind of monitors what the good breeders are doing. A good breeder would never sell a puppy to a family without meeting the family.
Really?
A good breeder, a responsible breeder, would have the parents of those dogs, the male and female, available for inspection. A good breeder cares about their animals. What is different than and some people want a purebred dog or a cat. I understand that and I respect that. But if you are going to buy that animal, a purebred German Shepherd or a Bichon or any type of specialty dog, then you should be buying it from a responsible breeder. You should not go on the internet and expect to find some internet site that's going to ship in a dog from Ohio or from other areas that breed these animals and show up at your door in a kennel. That does not come from a responsible breeder. most definitely that dog comes from the puppy mills. And those are the types of animals we're trying to ban.
And we also have the cat lady, Charlotte.
Okay.
Charlotte has become almost a fixture, Freeholder, almost a fixture on this show. She was here on advocating for Desmond's Law. Desmond's Law is a law introduced in the legislature that will allow law students from Seton Hall Law School, Rutgers Law School, Legal Services Committee to be advocates for the animal, to give a voice to an animal in animal cruelty cases.
I love that.
And she was here with Freeholder Brendan Gill of Essex County,
Sure.
talking about TNR, trap, neuter, and release, and what else?
It's trap, neuter, vaccinate,
Vaccinate.
return,
Okay.
and manage. Very important. That's the key to the whole system. People don't understand. They just go trap, neuter, vaccinate, return. That's it. The cat's done. It's important to manage because you have to watch the health and benefit of our community cats that are working.
Very
cats.
good, very good. Restrict sales of dogs and cats to certainly breeders who have been endorsed by an organization that will monitor them for proper health of the animals.
That's right.
And from rescue organizations. But don't we have to regulate rescue organizations too, don't we?
Sure, of course, because not all rescue organizations are perfect.
And there are scam artists out
Oh,
there. You
yeah.
just saw one that recently, right?
Yeah, and you have to be careful. Most of the nonprofits, I would say, most of the rescue organizations that I'm familiar with, is certainly in my county, do an exceptional job. And I'm very proud of the several organizations that are in my county. However, you've heard that there are scam artists that will set up a, quote, rescue in order to move puppy mills. And it's done on the internet, and it's done people in houses. We had one situation in Camden County where the prosecutor had to intervene and actually arrested the woman for hoarding animals and creating an internal puppy mill and treated the animals very severely. And she was arrested for that, fortunately. Yeah, there's a core group of advocates that I will rely on the Humane Society and their Trenton people to figure out who the best sponsors are and to strategically plan who should introduce the legislation and what language, what specific language. The plan is to introduce this year.
Right.
And the plan is to have it become law by the end of this year. And I am cautiously optimistic that Governor Murphy will support that legislation. In my brief discussions with him and his chief of staff, I am confident that he would be supportive of this type of legislation, and I am very optimistic that this is going to happen.